According to the Daily Mail um, and Richard Littlejohn, apparently the King promised the late Queen that he would look after Prince Andrew. And that explains why Prince Andrew turned up in the Sandringham walk to church, and it explains the royal family's Christmas. But I think the Queen probably also encouraged her son to look after his youngest son, Prince Harry, and that hasn't turned out, has it? So I think I think the royal scoop in the Daily Mail is a little bit short of the truth. Number one, number two, of course, I think the King is probably regretting his decision, particularly given the stories which have come out, and they were known about at Christmas, so they could have been anticipated. Andrew is 64 next month, and he has lingering and I think fast vanishing hopes that he can be rehabilitated, that his public reputation can be won back. I think there's not a chance in hell. And the signal that the King gave to the world about Prince Andrew will backfire, and I'm sure there's a lot of very quick thinking going on at the moment. I think there's everything to be said for forgiveness and for turning a new page. I think there's plenty of people who presage hope and who have a great deal to offer. Among the people who I think have things to offer, and I'm not quite sure why I would say this, is someone like Laurence Fox. I wish he'd go back into acting. I wish he'd get a decent agent and would get back to where he belongs. But while that doesn't happen, and while cancel culture is so intent on destroying him, well, maybe he should run for Mayor of London, because at least he would challenge the sitting mayor and the absurd Conservative candidate. And that might get some decent debate going. I think it would be so much better to see someone like Rory Stewart back in there with a chance, and with a chance for everybody, not just for himself, with a chance for everybody. That's the sort of person who should be running London, rather than the present mayor, who's had his time. He's done his bit. Not terribly well, if I want to point that out. I remember stumbling over a piece of street furniture in the middle of a road, falling flat on my face and getting a black eye as a result on the way to do some filming. And I contacted the mayor's office. Nothing. I was sent on a runaround from one local authority to another. This was in Tottenham Court Road. And I noticed a few months later that the offending bit of street furniture had quietly been removed. So presumably I had some effect, but certainly no acknowledgement and a lot of snubbing. But that's the way it is with the current authorities around the UK. And I'm not greatly surprised by the frustration of 20 years for the victims of the Horizon scandal. In the last, certainly since the turn of the century, we've seen a downturn in what we can expect from the elected authorities in our country. They don't really pay much attention to the people who elected them until it gets to an election. And then they're all at our doors, banging on the doors and hoping that we're going to vote for them. And churning out speeches and promises, and none of it means very much, as we've seen. I think we need that debate. I think Laurence Fox is the person to encourage that debate, because the two current contestants are not really likely to get even a sentence out that makes any sense.